This is Atlantic Television Network. Welcome to Global News. First, the highlights. Rivers State Police Command arrests Corps for murder. Sanwo-Olu signs 4.4 trillion naira 2026 budget into law. Tinubu orders probe into tragic murder in Kano. Niger's oil imports increase in 10 months. Train crash kills 39 persons in Spain. Super Eagles get special bonus for third place. And Tiwa Savage speaks on dating experience. Welcome back. Rivers State Police Command has arrested Inspector Okus for allegedly shooting his colleagues, Inspector Ibrahim Sani, on the head and neck regions, and the injured officers was rushed to Nopsan Hospital for medical treatment, where Inspector Sani died and the corpse has been deposited at the military hospital mortuary, Port Harcourt, for preservation and autopsy. While Inspector Dauda is still recovering, a statement by the police PPRO, SP Grace Iringekoko, said Inspector Victor Okus was a colleague and fellow officer attached to 17 PMF on special duty at Intels. One has been arrested and is currently in police custody. According to the unit commander DSP Turaki Hassan's account and preliminary investigations, the tragic incident occurred at Next Cash and Carry Supermart, Transamadi, Port Harcourt, where Inspector Ibrahim Sani M and Inspector Daniel Dauda M All attached to 14 PMF Yola were on joint guard duty with military personnel. The Commissioner of Police River State, CP Olubanga A. Adepoju, has directed a comprehensive and transparent investigation into the incident by ensuring that the circumstances surrounding the reprehensible act are thoroughly examined and the suspect will be facing an orderly room trial and subsequently charged to court for prosecution while assuring that justice will be served. The CP further advised officers that handling of firearms while on duty is a serious responsibility and not a routine task, but to prevent potential tragedies, and also extends heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family, colleagues and friends of Inspector Sani, and further reaffirming the command's commitment to upholding the highest standards of professionalism and accountability within the force. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has warned that no individual or group can distract his administration with 2027 elections, saying he's focused on delivering development for the state. A statement at the Seventh-day Adventist Church Umuika District, headquarters Ishia Langwa South Local Government Area, while attending worship with his wife Priscilla Chidima, Oti vowed that his government will continue to do the right thing, not mind the attacks by the opposition. This is coming after Oti and 3 former governors of the state, Orju Kalu, Theodore Orji, and Okeze Ikbazu, have in recent times been in a war of words, with Kalu vowing to stop Oti's re-election in 2027. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has signed the 4.4 trillion naira 2026 budget into law. The signing ceremony took place at the conference room Lagos House, Alausa, Secretariat Ikeja. This is coming after the Lagos State House of Assembly had earlier passed the budget tagged Budget of Shared Prosperity in January, and the lawmakers approved the bill authorizing the issuance and appropriation of 4.4 trillion naira for the 2026 fiscal year. Present at the ceremony were the Deputy Governor Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, members of the State Executive Council, the head of service Bode Agoro, lawmakers from the Lagos State House of Assembly, and other key stakeholders. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has urged law enforcement officers in the state to uphold integrity while discharging their duties. The admonition was given at the personal parade of a new batch of trained law enforcement officers at the Lagos State Law Enforcement Training Institute, headquarters in Oshodi. According to a statement, Sanwo-Olu spoke through the Commissioner for Establishment and Training, Afolabi Ayantayo, that the officers had been entrusted with the authority of the state, a responsibility that must be exercised with integrity, fairness, and respect for human rights. Earlier, the Director General of LETI, Abiola Adeyinka, said the officers had undergone intensive training in traffic and environmental management, neighborhood safety and security, as well as vehicle safety, and urged them to remain professional and responsible in the discharge of their duties. Adeyinka Fola said over 3,000 law enforcement officers from various agencies were trained by LETI in 2025, while appealing to the state government for increased funding to enable the institute to train more personnel in line with Lagos State's growing population. Operatives of the Federal Highway Patrol on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in Oyo State have recovered the red cloth containing bones and other items suspected to be parts of a human corpse concealed among passengers' luggage. The Oyo State Police Public Relations Officer, Adewale Osifeso, who disclosed this in a statement issued in Ibadan, the state capital, said the driver of the vehicle, Kazim Ayegbo, who was traveling from Lagos to Oshogbo, was apprehended during a routine stop and search operation along the route. Osif also said the suspect will be charged to court upon conclusion of investigations, and also assured residents of the state that the case is being handled with utmost professionalism and diligence. The police further reiterated its commitment to ensuring that all offenders are brought to justice and urged members of the public to continue cooperating with the police by providing timely and credible information, stressing that sustained public support remains vital to maintaining peace and security across the state. Osun State Police Command has commenced an investigation into the killing of a former unit chairman of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Kazim Oyewole, who was allegedly murdered by suspected hoodlums in Oshogbo on Sunday. The killing triggered tension across some motor parks in the Oshogbo metropolis, as individuals believed to be associates of the disease reportedly moved around major parks, allegedly searching for those suspected to be behind Oyewole's death. Oyewole, who served as part-time chairman of the NURTW Aregbe unit between 2018 and 2022, was attacked in the afternoon around Elelede Junction, while the exact circumstances surrounding his death remained unclear as of press time. The state government has outlined a series of activities, including a Jumat service and a Thanksgiving service to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the state's creation. The state was created on February 3, 1976 from the defunct western region of Nigeria with its administrative capital in Akure. A statement posted on the state government's X handle on Monday said the Golden Jubilee program was designed to combine reflection, Thanksgiving, intellectual discourse, and cultural celebration in line with Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa's vision for the state's future. Nominated by a planning committee chaired by the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Taiwo Fasho Ranti, a major highlight of the celebrations is a public lecture themed Ondo State yesterday, today, and tomorrow, scheduled for Monday, February 2, 2026 at the Dome Accra, and the activities will begin with a world press conference on January 29, 2026, followed by a Jumat service on January 30 and a Thanksgiving service on February 1. The celebrations will culminate in a gala and award night at the Dome, Akure, where distinguished sons and daughters of Ondo State to be honored, and the state government has invited the residents, indigents at home and in the diaspora, as well as friends of Ondo State, to participate in the Golden Jubilee celebrations. Benue State has recorded 7 new suspected cases of Lassa fever, which is raising renewed concern among health authorities and residents over the spread of the viral disease. The suspected cases have prompted immediate public health response measures by the authorities, and the state epidemiologist Dr. Ashema Mswega disclosed this in Makurdi, where samples from the affected individuals have already been collected and sent for laboratory analyses for confirmation. Dr. Mswega urged residents to take preventive measures, particularly by ensuring that food items were properly covered and protected from rodents, which are known carriers of the Lassa fever virus, adding that simple hygiene practices would significantly reduce the risk of infection, assuring the Ministry of Health and Human Resources has intensified community sensitization campaigns across the states to curb the spread of the disease. He also said the awareness drive focuses on rodent control, environmental sanitation, and regular cleanup exercises, adding that special attention was being given to areas identified as Lassa fever hotspots, where health, education, and surveillance activities have been scaled up to quickly detect and respond to any new cases. The state epidemiologists further assured that healthcare facilities across Benue have been adequately equipped to handle suspected cases, while the healthcare workers have received training and are well prepared to provide the necessary medical services. Federal Capital Territory Administration has removed 607 beggars and mentally challenged persons from the streets of Abuja from July 2025 to date. The head of enforcement at the FCT Social Development Secretariat, Mrs. Ukachi Adebayo, who disclosed this in Abuja on Monday, said the exercise was carried out by the Operation Sweep Abuja Clean team. She said out of the 607 persons evacuated, 583 were beggars, while 23 were mentally challenged individuals, and the beggars and mentally challenged persons had been cancelled, profiled, and returned to their various states in collaboration with state governments through their liaison offices, stressing that the beggars and mentally challenged persons often return to the streets after evacuation. Similarly, Acting Director of Social Welfare at the SDS, Mrs. Gloria Onwuka, said some of the children begging on the streets were brought in from other states by unidentified individuals to beg and hand over the proceeds to them, adding that some of the women caught begging with children were not the children's biological mothers. Workers under the Joint Union Action Congress, JUAC, on Monday shut the gates of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCT, as they began an indefinite strike over unresolved welfare concerns, while appealing for urgent action to resolve the welfare issues affecting their welfare. The president of the union, Mrs. Rifkatu Lotia, told journalists that some of the concerns included non-remittance of pension and national housing funds deductions and payment overhead allowances.
There's no demonstration, but there's a strike. Yeah. The reason for this strike is because we want to call the attention of the management of FCTA to certain grievances, quite a number of them, that we've tried to resolve, but it has not happened in a while. And we did not have a choice than to do exactly what we're doing today. We have issues of non-remittance of our pension funds to our pension fund manager. There's no demonstration, but there's a strike. Yeah. The reason for this strike is because we want to call the attention of the. There's no demonstration, but there's a strike. Yeah. The reason for this strike is because we want to call the attention of the management of FCTA to certain grievances, quite a number of them, that we've tried to resolve, but it has not happened in a while. And we did not have a choice than to do exactly what we're doing today. We have issues of non-remittance of our pension funds to our pension fund manager, to our administrators. We have issues of non-resolved issues about the National Housing Fund. We have issues of tenure elongation for directors that are supposed to retire and they are kept stunting our growth. We have issues of mass failure in the just concluded CBT exam, which has happened in FCTA for the first time. And so many glitches happen, ranging from power failure, overcrowdedness, invalid login and all, and we called their attention to it, but nothing was done. And before we know it, they gave us a 22.5% success rate. And we know that we are not done in the FCT, and we know that this is not what should be. So it's part of our agitation.
Also disturbing is the absence of a financial threshold for permanent secretaries at heads of SDAs and negotiation of tenure for some retired directors and permanent secretaries. She also said the workers also rejected the mass failure recorded in the 2024 promotion examination and demanded its reversals.
Another of our agitation is the wage award, which has not been paid. When we started talking about this, they decided to pay one month for every staff against the 5 months. They paid the hazard allowance for the health and medical workers, the 13 months, which we agitated, which is part of our grievance. Another serious point of concern is the way we are being intimidated by the favorites of the Honorable Minister. We have situations of civil servants doing one mistake or the other, and instead of following the procedures of disciplinary actions in the civil service, we are being taken away by policemen, stay 1, 2, 3 days, and then we are being released. And it's like nobody knows about it. Even when we talk, it's like nobody seems to be listening to us. So they are just plenty. We have a 22 list on our list of agitation. For as long as they want us to lock it, because the ball is in their court. If they call us and they do what we are angry about, the gates will be open. But it's not about the gate alone, you know. There are services that we render in the FCT. Our adventure, it is going on right now because we're trying to be very, to have a human face to staff and the residents of the FCT. But if they push us, we do not have a choice than to go much more critical.
The president said the issues have been causing undue hardship and frustration to workers generally. National State Police Command has rescued 17 suspected victims of human trafficking. The police public relations officer in the state, SP Ramhan Nansel, said in a statement issued in Lafayette, the state capital, that the victims were rescued on Saturday when a team of patrol officers attached to Mararaba A Division intercepted a white Volkswagen Sharon vehicle during a stop-and-search operation at Sharp Corner, Karo local government area of the state. Nansel said the vehicle was driven by one Nanle John and had 17 passengers on board. 2 months after teaching and learning remained paused in Papiri, Niger State, with St. Mary's Catholic School under lock, and over 230 students and teachers are still reeling from the trauma and shock of their abduction, while parents are whimpering over the shutting down of schools. This is coming after the November 21, 2025 attack had a devastating blow to the community, and the recent Kasuan Daji massacre has also exacerbated fears among the people after gunmen stormed the school in broad daylight. With the intervention of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Office of the National Security Advisor, the students and their teachers were released and handed over to Governor Mohammed Umar Bago with the first batch of 100 on 8th and 2nd of 130 on 22nd of December 2005. Findings show that the area's security situation is there with no military base and well-equipped police force, and the police allegedly lack personnel or personal vehicles and sufficient firearms, making it impossible to tackle the bandits invading the areas. Reflecting on 2005 in another statement by his chief press secretary Bologi Ibrahim, Governor Bago described the year as one of mixed feelings for Niger State, marked by both achievements and devastating challenges, and further highlighted progress in infrastructure, education, agriculture, healthcare, economy, and security, but acknowledged security concerns, including the Papiri school abduction and banditry. Operatives of the Bauchi State Police Command have apprehended 14 suspected dangerous Sarasuka thugs in a swift operation across the Bakaro, Kofadumi, Tudun Yarima, and Kofamadaki areas, recovering machetes and sharp knives. The spokesman of the command, SP Nafiu Habib, who disclosed this in a crime bulletin issued on Monday, said the suspects, armed with machetes and knives, had been terrorizing residents, snatching phones and cash, and inflicting injuries. He said the arrested suspects, aged between 18 and 22, admitted to the crimes during interrogation. The spokesman said the police team, led by the Divisional Police Officer of A Division, Bauchi CSP Hassan A. Musa, arrested the suspects, while SP Habib conveyed a message from the Commissioner of Police, CP Sani Omolori Aliyu, commending public cooperation and urging continued vigilance. Sokoto State Governor Ahmed Aliyu has visited the scene of the fire outbreak that razed several shops at the Old Market in Sokoto, pledging government support to traders affected by the incident. The fire, which broke out on Sunday, destroyed dozens of shops and goods estimated to be worth hundreds of millions of naira. A statement by the Director General, Media and Publicity Abubakar Bawa Aliyu described the incident as unfortunate, adding that its impact extended beyond the affected traders to the wider security Sokoto community, and acknowledged the Old Market as the major economic hub and source of livelihood for many residents, assuring red traders that his administration will not abandon them. The governor also commended the prompt response of the Sokoto State Fire Service and the efforts of traders at the market, which, as he said, helped to prevent the fire from spreading further. Earlier, the chairman of the Sokoto State Traders Association, Alhaji Chika Sarkin Kishira, said about 50 shops were affected by the inferno, and an appeal to the state government to assist the affected traders to enable them to return to business, and thanked Governor Aliyu for what he described as his consistent support for traders in the state. NEMA said other stakeholders, including the fire service, worked together to bring the situation under control. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network, and now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has ordered a full investigation into the gruesome murder of a housewife, Fatima Abubakar, and her 6 children at the Chiran Thief community in Kano State. A statement on Monday by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the president condemned the attack, describing it as barbaric, and condoled with the bereaved family, and also commended the police for the swift arrest of the principal suspects and directed security agencies to ensure diligent prosecution. The president assured Nigerians of the federal government's commitment to protecting lives and property, stressing that such acts of violence would not be tolerated, and this is coming after 7 persons, including a 35-year-old woman and her 6 children, were killed on Saturday in a violent attack at the Rayi Chiransi quarters in Kano. The victims, identified as Fatima Abubakar and her children, were attacked at their residence by suspected hoodlums who reportedly broke into the house and inflicted fatal injuries using dangerous weapons. Confirming the incident, the police public relations officer in the state, CSP Abdullahi Kiyawa, said the command received a distress call on January 17, reporting the attack on the household of one Haruna Bashir, and the commissioner of police, CP Ibrahim Bakori, immediately mobilized a team of officers to the scene, led by the deputy commissioner of police in charge of operations, DCP Lawal Mani, and the victims were evacuated to the Murtala Mohammed Specialist Hospital, Kano, where medical personnel confirmed them dead. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on the successful hosting of the African Music Awards, one of the biggest gatherings of music stars on the continent. The 9th edition of AFRIMA was held from January 7 to 11, 2026 in Lagos, which was designated as the host city by the African Union Commission on April 9, 2025. A statement issued by his spokesman, Bayo Onanuga, hailed Nigerian stars who won laurels at the grand finale on January 11, adding that the success of Nigerian musicians at the awards is clear proof that Nigeria's music and creative ecosystem continue to grow and gain global respect. At the event, Rema won Artist of the Year, Best Male Artist in Western Africa, and Best African R&B and Soul. Burna Boy took Album of the Year, while Charlie Poppy won Song of the Year and Best African Collaboration with Burna Boy, and Fino was named Best African Hip Hop, King Madi Most Promising Artist, and Yemi Alade Best Soundtrack. Chela won One African Fans Favorite, and Kenny Ogbunge and Dayo Adeneye were honored with the Afrima Legendary Award. According to Tinubu, the achievement of Nigerian artists at the awards reflect years of hard work, talent, and consistency, adding that Nigerian music had become a strong voice for the country across Africa and beyond, and global platforms such as Afrima continue to provide opportunities for African talents to shine and compete at the highest level. President Tinubu was honored in 2015 with the Pillar of Arts and Culture in Africa Award by the African Union Commission and the International Committee of Afrima, assured that his administration would continue to prioritize youth empowerment and the development of the creative economy. Federal government has commenced applications for the 2026 Petroleum Technology Development Fund Overseas Scholarship Scheme, providing opportunities for Nigerian postgraduate students to study in the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and Malaysia. This was confirmed in a post shared via X, formerly Twitter, by the Office of the Special Advisor to the President on social media, Dada Olusegun, on Monday, that the scheme targets MSc and PhD candidates in disciplines relevant to the oil and gas sector, offering benefits such as tuition, return flight tickets, accommodation and living allowances, health insurance, and bench fees where applicable. For PhD applicants in the United Kingdom, scholarships will follow a split-site arrangement, allowing research to be conducted between the College of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Kaduna, CPESC, and selected UK partner universities, including Robert Gordon University, University of Strathclyde, and University of Portsmouth, stressing that the scholarships are highly competitive. A statement further said requirements for MSc applicants to include a minimum of second class lower, 2.2 in a first degree of 2.1 completion of the NYSC program, computer literacy, and 5 O-level credits, including English language and mathematics, while PhD applicants must also submit a research proposal of up to 5 pages outlining objectives, methodology, and data collection approaches. Vice President Kashim Shettima has arrived in Davos, Switzerland, to lead Nigeria's delegation at the 56th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. The forum, which brings together global political and business leaders, will hold from January 19 to 23, 2026. Shettima arrived from Conakry, Guinea, where he represented President Bola Tinubu at the inauguration of President Mamadi Doumbouya on Friday. A statement by his senior special assistant on media and communications, the VP was received on arrival by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Toga, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, and officials of the Nigerian mission in Switzerland. This year's forum marks a milestone in Nigeria's participation at the annual gathering with the federal government establishing a dedicated sovereign pavilion on the Davos promenade for the first time, and a facility called Nigeria House Davos was established through a public-private partnership. It will serve as a hub for ministerial engagement, investment roundtables, and cultural diplomacy throughout the week, and the Vice President is expected to commission the facility during his visit. Justice Mohammed Umar of the Federal High Court in Abuja has struck out Meta and X as defendants in the amended cyberbullying charges brought against Omoyele Sowore for calling President Bola Tinubu a criminal. The judge on Monday struck out names of the two foreign defendants when Sowore was rearraigned on Monday, and following the request of counsel to the Department of the State Service DSS lawyer Akinlolu Kehinde Shan, withdrawing them from the new charge. In a short ruling, Justice Umar removed X-Corp, the owner of the social media platform X, formerly Twitter, and Meta Platforms Incorporated, the parent company of Facebook, as co-defendants in the new case. In the amended charge filed on December 5, 2005, Sowore, a two-time former presidential candidate, was rearraigned by DSS on 2 count charges bordering on defamation of Tinubu as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The new charge at the Federal High Court in Abuja was signed by Akinlolu Kehinde Shan on behalf of the federal government, while Sowore pleaded not guilty to the 2 count charges when read to him. Attempts to open trial was, however, stalled due to complaints by Sowore's lawyer Abubakar Marshal that the names of the witnesses and their particulars were not attached to the proof of evidence as required by law, adding that the refusal to name the witnesses and their identities violated Section 36 of 1999, which compels fair hearing in any matter of the nature. The charges are punishable with a fine of a minimum of 15 million naira or 5 years imprisonment. Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has described the continuous voter registration (CVR) as a collective national obligation rather than a political competition. The INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, Dr. Motu Agboko, who discloses during an expanded stakeholders meeting held on Monday, which was organized to formally brief stakeholders on the rollout of the second phase of the continuous voter registration and to strengthen collaboration ahead of future elections in the state. While making a strong appeal to political actors to prioritize peace and civic duty over partisan interest, Dr. Agboke said the Commission's decision to convene the meeting reflected its consultative approach to electoral management, adding that sustained dialogue had contributed to peaceful electoral activities in Osun. He recalled that similar consultations were held before the first phase of the continuous voter registration, adding that issues raised at the time were addressed, resulting in a smooth and violence-free exercise. He also said regular interactions had helped to clarify electoral procedures, legal frameworks, and the rules of institutions such as security agencies, political parties, civil society groups, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and the media, stressing that the outcome of the engagement included reduced tension, better cooperation, and increased respect for the rule of law during electoral activities. The REC further said a new operational model has been introduced involving a 50-day rotational deployment of voter enrollment devices across communities in each local government area. African Democratic Congress has called on the federal government to clarify the Nigeria-United States Health Cooperation Agreement if the pact's apparent Christian-based provisions could undermine constitutional guarantees, transparency, and national sovereignty. A statement by the ADC National Publicity Secretary Abolaji Abdullahi reaffirmed the party's support for foreign aid and bilateral cooperation aimed at strengthening Nigeria's healthcare system, adding that such partnerships must respect the country's diversity and comply with constitutional anti-discrimination rules. This is coming after on December 19, the United States signed a 5-year bilateral health cooperation memorandum of understanding with Nigeria valued at $5.1 billion, and the agreement is designed to advance the America First global health strategy by strengthening resilient, self-sustaining, and accountable health systems through shared responsibility. Under the agreement, about $200 million is earmarked to support 900 Christian clinics and hospitals, improve workforce capacity, and expand access to integrated services for HIV, tuberculosis, malaria, and maternal and child health care. And reacting to development, the ADC cautioned that the federal government must avoid agreements that could be divisive or undermine Nigeria's constitutional principles of inclusion and national unity. While the federal government has presented the MOU as a technical and inclusive framework to strengthen health security, expand primary health care, and increase domestic health financing, the ADC said U.S. statements describe the same agreement in materially different terms. Top leaders of the All Progressives Congress APC have ruled out the granting of automatic tickets to governors, including Akwa Ibom State Governor Omar Eno, Taraba State Governor Agbo Kefas, and Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, who joined the party recently, as well as Kano State Governor Abba Kabe Yusuf, who is expected to join soon. A member of the APC National Working Committee, NWC, who spoke on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to comment on the issue, said defection from another political party to the APC does not guarantee an automatic ticket. Supporting this position, the APC Director of Publicity, Bala Ibrahim, described the ruling party as democratic and progressive, stressing that all members will be allowed to fully enjoy and exercise their rights. Reacting, a member of the APC National Working Committee said the defections were driven by President Bola Tinubu's numerous achievements, and it would ultimately be up to the people to decide on their re-election to run again. Reacting, the PDP publicity secretary said their regret is only beginning, adding that many of them would end up disappointed in the APC, adding that they abandoned the PDP for selfish reasons rather than in the interest of their people. Federal government has ordered the commencement of applications for admission into federal technical colleges across country beginning Monday, January 26, 2026, following approval of the initiative by the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Alausa. A statement issued on Monday by the Ministry's Director of Press and Public Relations, Boriowo Folashade, said the program is part of the government's broader strategy to expand access to quality technical and vocational education towards equipping young Nigerians with practical, employable, and industry-relevant skills, adding that prospective candidates are required to complete their applications through the official National Business and Technical Examinations Board online portal. The ministry said possession of a valid national identification number is compulsory for all applicants, and also reiterated that technical education in federal technical colleges is fully funded upon admission, and further urged parents, guidance, and prospective candidates to strictly comply with all application requirements and obtain information only from official channels of the Federal Ministry of Education and designated examination borders. The ministry also said expanding access to free quality technical education is central to empowering youths with relevant skills, promoting self-reliance, and contributing meaningfully to national economic growth and sustainable development. And now to some business news. Nigeria's crude oil imports from the United States in the first 10 months of 2005 increased to more than 42 million barrels. According to data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration between January and October 2005, Nigeria imported 42.13 million barrels, representing a significant increase from 15.79 million barrels during the same period in 2004. The developments indicate an increase of about 167% year-on-year, due mainly to the efforts of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, while on the other hand, imports in 2004 did not exceed 4 million barrels and dropped sharply to 1.4 million barrels in June, indicating instability during the period. Although Nigeria did not import from the United States in January, its February imports totaled 3.11 million barrels, down from 3.61 million barrels in February 2004, while its imports rose to 5.25 million barrels in March 2005, up from nearly 1.83 million barrels in March 2004. According to the agency, Nigeria imported 3.79 million barrels in May 2005, about 1.71 million barrels more than a year earlier, while imports rose to 9.16 million barrels in June 2025. And now to some international tidbits. Thousands in the United States staged large demonstrations denouncing the Iranian government's deadly crackdown on anti-government protesters in the Islamic Republic. This is coming after several thousand people marched in Los Angeles, home to the world's largest Iranian diaspora, while several hundred others gathered in New York, and the U.S. protesters were seen carrying signs condemning a new Holocaust, a genocide in the making, and the terror of the Iranian government. This is a 2-year-old payroll manager who fled Iran in 2006 learned this week that one of her cousins had been killed during the overseas rallies held in her native country, while demonstrations sparked by anger over economic hardship exploded into protests late December in what has been widely seen as the biggest challenge to the Iranian leadership in recent years. The rally subsided after a government crackdown in Iran that rights groups have called the massacre carried out by security forces under the cover of a communications blackout that had started on January 8. Norway-based Iran Human Rights said it had verified the deaths of 3,428 protesters killed by security forces, confirming cases through sources within the Islamic Republic's health and medical system, witnesses and independent sources. Spain's civil guard says about 39 people are feared dead in a train collision in southern Spain, and dozens more have been injured in the country's worst rail crash in more than a decade. This is coming after carriages on the Madrid-bound train derailed and crossed over to the opposite tracks, colliding with an oncoming train in Adamuz, while 400 passengers and staff were on board. Emergency services treated 122 people, with 48, including 5 children, still in hospital. Of those, 11 adults and 1 child are in intensive care, while Spanish Transport Minister Oscar Puente said the death toll is not yet final. Spain's high-speed rail network is the second largest in the world, behind China, connecting more than 50 cities across the country, while ADIF data shows the Spanish rail is more than 4,000 kilometers long. Here now is ATN Sports News. Nigeria Super Eagles will receive $15,000 for finishing third at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. The bonus was initially meant for the semi-final, where they lost 4-2 on penalties to hosts Atlas Lions of Morocco, and the players have received all their win bonus except for the third-place match. Wealthy businessman Abdul Samad Rabiu has also redeemed his pledge of $500,000 to the team, and the players have already dispersed to their respective clubs. They failed to attend the medal presentation ceremony on Sunday. Super Eagles of Nigeria have surged to 26th place in the latest FIFA World Ranking released on Monday, recording a remarkable 12th-place jump. The Nigerian national team climbed from 38th after an impressive outing at the 2025 AFCON in Morocco, where they finished third overall. The Super Eagles are now the third-best team in Africa, behind AFCON winner Senegal, ranks 12th globally, and Morocco placed 8th in the world. Algeria and Egypt occupy 4th and 5th positions, respectively, on the African ranking. Meanwhile, Spain, Argentina, France, England, Brazil, Portugal, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, and Croatia make up the world's top 10 teams. FIFA Women's Champions Cup took another major step towards its historic conclusion on Monday, with the unveiling of the tournament's new trophy, which will be lifted by the winners of FIFA's first Global Women's Cup club competition. According to a post obtained from FIFA's X handle on Monday, the trophy took place in London and was shared with pupils from a school near Brentford Stadium, the venue that will host the semi-finals on Wednesday, 28 January. Former England international and Arsenal legend Alex Scott led the unveiling alongside FIFA Chief Football Officer and two-time FIFA Women's World Cup winning coach Jill Ellis. Ellis said the event underlined the importance of inspiring young people through football, describing the excitement of the children as they saw the trophy up close as a reminder of the game's power to connect and motivate future generations. Scott, who serves as an ambassador for the FIFA Women's Champions Cup 2026, hailed the tournament as a landmark moment for women's club football, noting that it brings together champions from every continent to compete on the global stage, adding that the quality on display is expected to inspire young players and fans alike. And now, entertainment news. Nigerian singer Tiwa Savage has spoken kindly about her dating experience, revealing that she has only had one good relationship. The 45-year-old said, aside from her late lover, she has been unlucky in her other relationships, and she had always advised her son to treat women right because of how she suffered in wrong relationships. The singer was married to music executive Tunji Balogun, popularly known as T-Bills, from 2013 until their divorce in 2018. They have one child together, a son named Jamil. Nollywood actress Shafi Bello has claimed that Wizkid, Davido and Burna Boy are already on the same level as the late Afrobeat pioneer Fela Anikulapo Kuti. The movie star made a claim in a recent episode, adding that the trio has reached Fela's level of international recognition. Beyond music, the Grammy Awards organizers praised the Afrobeat pioneer for the legacy he left behind, while Fela's son, Grammy-nominated musician Seun Kuti, earlier warned Nigerians about comparing Afrobeat artists with his late father, calling it disrespectful. He urged Nigerians to stop the comparisons and allow his late father to rest in peace. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Rivers State Police Commander arrests call for murder. Sanwo-Olu signs for 4.4 trillion naira 2026 budget into law. Tinubu orders probe into tragic murder in Kano. Nigeria's oil imports increase in 10 months. Train crash kills 39% in Spain. Super Eagles get special bonus for third place. And to our survey speaks on dating experience. I am Favor T. Question Michael. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter now X at Atlantic TV Net and Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network and on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. And don't forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. To have a wonderful night rest.